The supernatural world surrounds us. Sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. You'll hear stories about this, so much more, right here on Supernatural Confrontations. I have a gentleman with us today. We've blocked his face out. We'll call him Mr. X, not his real name. He spent time in the music business. We're going to disguise his voice also. I think you'll find this interesting. He's kind of sticking his neck out, but he'll be anonymous, and you won't be able to tell who this person is. He's sort of like a whistleblower. I've been following this for decades, and I understand. And I'll tell a quick story on the other side after the commercial break of what I experienced way back before I was a Christian. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. You probably think your 401k is safe, that it's growing, that it'll be enough for your retirement. But what if it's not? Here's the truth, folks. Your 401k was never designed to make you wealthy. It was created in a corporate boardroom to shift retirement costs and investment risks onto you. Designed to keep your money trapped, exposed to Wall Street crashes, inflation, and uncertainty you can't control. Until now. Folks, Americans are taking back control by turning to real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments has helped thousands protect your future by converting part of their retirement savings into physical gold. Talk to Noble Gold today and learn how safe and easy it is to roll over your 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit, including a step-by-step guide to get started. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. It's time to get your money out of the danger zone and into something real. And folks, get rewarded for getting started. Open a qualified account at noblegoldinvestments.com, and Noble Gold will send you 2 5-ounce Silver America, the beautiful coins free. Once again, folks, noblegoldinvestments.com. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Before I bring Mr. X in, I just want to tell you a quick story. It's circa 1976, 77. I've got a rock band. I'm in the studios in Los Angeles. I've got producers. I've got managers, the whole deal, chasing the rock and roll carrot. And I remember I was in Hollywood one day, and these friends of mine, I won't mention their names, I actually don't remember their names. It's almost 50 years ago. And they were talking to me, and they had just bought a dog, and the dog's name was Nimrod. I knew nothing about Nimrod back then, nothing, no idea. But instantly when they said it, and this before I was a Christian, there was like a check in my spirit, because I think the Lord's hand was on me, even though I had not come across the line yet. But the Lord's hand was on me. And they said, yeah, the dog's name is Nimrod. And then the man proceeded to tell me, oh, yeah, we go to these meetings, LA, you should come with us. Now, they lived in Hollywood, all right? I'm not making this up. And, there's certain ways that you can get into the music industry very easily. If you just come with us to one of these meetings, you'll see how it works. And I didn't take them up on it, and the rest is history. 3 or 4 or 5 years later, I became a Christian. 1980, that's 45 years ago. And I've dedicated my life to exposing the works of darkness. So I'm going to bring Mr. X in. Mr. X, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, LA.
Okay. So you spent time in the music industry.
Yes, my whole life, pretty much.
And there's a dark underbelly. Tell us about that.
Well, it was dark when, according to what you believe, if you believe in good and evil, you got this Lucifer. So the story starts with Lucifer was, and you can find it, anything I tell you in the Bible, Lucifer was every instrument. And part of his job was to, give worship to God. When Lucifer was thrown out, turned into Satan, he took music, he, she, whatever it is, took music and dispersed his new name onto people and created a new, it's the word paradigm? Yes, I think that might what it is. And he created a new way of destroying souls. So since Satan couldn't have what it wanted, it used its music to destroy people, and destroy people utterly is what it does through music. The first thing people don't understand is that When the world was created and everything in it, it was created in a frequency, which is 432. 432 is in the square root of pi. 432 is in any pyramid, anything on the planet. I saw that smile. You know I know my stuff. So, therefore, if you believe that God created everything and everything is in the frequency of 432, you can look this up. I won't give a name, but it was a German minister back in, I think, 1943, 47. He changed the music frequency to 440.
Right.
And that is an artificial number. It creates stress in the body. So therefore now, even if for you Christians, don't get upset, but when you listen to music on a radio that's Christian or anything else, once separated from it because it's not even in the frequency that it was created. And the only way to really get that type of music, you have to go to church and be there. So Satan not only hurt people, but right down to the cellular level of changing the frequency so that people would be more apt to do things to each other. Like I said, anything that I say can be proven. You can look at the military. They use frequencies against people. So it's no different. Do as above, so below. Same deal.
You know, I have a Yamaha Clavinova. It's the nicest piano I've ever owned. And it's got the Boyssendorfer sampling on it, but it also enables me to tune down to 432, 432. And I play in 432. It's just something I know what you're saying. There are people, we're not going to mention names here because we could be held liable. So we're not going to mention any names of recording artists. But there are recording artists that have come on the record and stated quite openly that there was a contract, that they sold their soul to the devil. I mean, that's, you can look it up. There seems to be something look, I was offered it. There was a woman, and before I let you go, Mr. X, there was a woman that came on the show years ago, and she was an actress, and, you know, she wouldn't tell me the name of the show. She told me off camera, but we didn't go public with it because you can't. And this guy, I mean, and this sounds really weird, and I get this. She's a beautiful young woman in her 20s. She's an up-and-coming actress. She's on this show. It's a well-known sitcom if I were to name it, but I won't. And basically she says, this tall, handsome man appears in her room. Just appears out of nowhere. And he's got a contract. And all he wants, you know, you can have everything. And he paints this whole picture. You can have everything. You're ready to go. And she refused. And that was the end of her career. And of course, the man vanished. So this happens. And I realize this can sound a little woo. You're not going to hear about this in church. Speak to that, Mr. X, please.
So for me, that can be one way things happen. I have never seen it that way. I know that the other way is because the frequency of life has changed to a 432. It's easier for Satan to reach your free will because your body is attached to the universe. Your spirit is not. So if your spirit is encased in something, it's weight. It has weight on it. We know every day because we have issues every day. There's weight that comes from the body and the free will. The free will is like a radio station. You know, if you tune to the wrong one, maybe later on you start singing something like, hey, how did I sing that? So we're always stuck there. What happened to me was I don't know, I was a sophomore in high school. I don't know what put me here. That part I can't remember, but I said, if you make me famous, you can have my soul. Wow. And I heard her voice tell me no. I did say no. But from that point, and I'm dyslexic, I was able to play 10 instruments. All I did was pick up one, start another. And before I knew it, I was playing instruments. I was meeting people. But everybody that I was meeting lived in a fleshful world. I also worked with somebody, I'm not going to mention names, I'll mention places, pretty much only one big person in Minnesota. And that person I used to talk to, and he would tell me he would steal people's dreams. That's how he would get his songs. Wow. So yes, he's a he. But Satan's job is to destroy people, and he uses music as a huge way of doing it. There are many ways to have your soul or be sold. I even went to the Crossroads because I heard it was a good place to go. And, I've just done a lot of stupid things in my life. You might have to ask me a direct question instead of leaving me open to the whole world because I might start breakdancing. That answer your question, son?
No, it does. When you look at, and I want you to address this, yeah, there are so many talented people and they never get anywhere. They're stuck, they never get anywhere. And I'm not going to disparage entertainers and artists. I'm not going to mention any names, but it seems like it's some of these people are so mediocre, it's beyond the pale. I mean, they are the essence of mediocrity, and yet they've got this platform which is global. Millions of fans hang on them. And I've listened to the music. I mean, I have two daughters, and I grew up with a lot of stuff. And and even today, the stuff that's out there, it's so mediocre on so many levels. Address that, please. Speak to that.
Well, I was a ghostwriter. That's why there's so many mediocre artists. They're controlled by the industry. That's also controlled by what we just talked about. So that's why there can be a lot of mediocre people because at one point there were 10 of us, and I wrote songs and I made people very, very famous. And if Satan couldn't get me to sell myself on my own merit, Satan would say, "Well, I'll get you to say things and do things for money. I'll still get you." Um, so that's one way. That's why mediocre people make it, because there's people like me that give them the songs. Most of the artists that you know of mostly don't write their own music. The reason music is also changed is because it's more artificial. We live in an artificial time where now they could, you know, um, make 3D houses, 3D food, which goes with a frequency that's 440. So everything is based off of artificial. It's very easy for evil to take people, take the weaker ones, because it doesn't matter or evil, it doesn't matter how talented you are. Your soul is still as important as a person that's very talented. So my soul is just as important as somebody else's. The difference here is that I actually make that person famous. So the industry is really pretty bad. At one point there was and even if you did sell your soul, you're still gonna hear Satan. There was one point, it's way back when each record company had its own room and it had a black onyx table on it. They would take the albums, put the albums on there. They would pray over them certain uh, summer solstices or certain witch days. They would connect demons to them, and then uh, kids would buy them, and next thing you know, people biting off heads of bats, just doing crazy things. But it's the frequency. So it's funny that you said when you play your piano, you turn it down. Here's what's funny: we can do that on our own, but try to put that music out at that frequency. You will find that you'll have a you'll have a hard time putting it out because it won't even play right. I had a song that I tested that out. I went to Atlantic Records. I say, hey, I tuned it down, and they go, we can't do anything with that. We'll just try. So they tried to mix and master it and sounded very popular, guy. They tried to mix and master it, couldn't do it. So Satan pretty much has cornered the market of people being oppressed.
You know, again, I don't want to disparage people and I don't want to mention any names, but there have been some people at the Super Bowl that, in my opinion, conducted, ritualistic something a ritualistic a ritual. That's the word I'm looking for. They actually conducted a ritual.
During a Super
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl halftime. Again, we won't mention any names here, but most people know who it is we're talking about. I mean, it's open occultism. I mean, it's in your face. And so here are the people, you know, the average guy in America has no idea what he's looking at, he or she's looking at. And, you know, they're eating those little mini hot dog things and chips and dip and having a couple of beers and just having a great time. And all of a sudden, this occult ritual is coming into their home via the television set. I mean, you're participating in it. Speak to that, Mr. X.
To get to your free will, one thing people should understand, your spirit can only be bothered by getting to your free will. So if you're not prayed up, believe in God enough, that's how you'll be had. And that's what we are faced with. So Satan does it physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, but these are all frequencies. And in my culture, you know, its frequency is the main thing. I'll give you one more thing to explain it. I went to MIT, and I can't remember the name of the thing, but if people looked it up, they'll find it. I was going to give some clinics to prove how God existed and how Satan existed on a frequency level. So they showed me an experiment where all the atoms, they had the camera and a TV, a camera, and they put a wall, and then they put like a tube in between the wall and the camera, and all the atoms, when they weren't looking at it, went through the tube and went right to the wall. So they noticed that when they watched the experiment, that the atoms would not go through the tube. They would go their own way. So that implies that whatever that is aware that you're looking at it. The atoms are a part of frequencies. We can get in a quantum entanglement. So on that level right there, everybody and everything will be attacked on a frequency base, because that's where we're really living it. People like to call them other dimensions. You can call them other dimensions, but in each dimension it's still the same frequency. Doesn't matter what you do. So we live in a frequency world, and evil knows it. And if it can get you to look at somebody doing a ritual, that gets passed to you on a frequency level, because your eyes, they're the conductor. They take all this in. It goes through your body. It hits your mind. And because we've been taught so many different things in life, your free will has thoughts to it that don't even belong. That's another thing. People, everyone's had it. You walk down the street and you go, dang, what was that thought I just had? How did it get in your mind? Right. So our whole body takes in everything. If that wasn't the case, we wouldn't even be able to pray. So it's the music industry is one of many ways to destroy, but Satan's job is to shame God. And so, wants to take as many souls as he can. And, we're living in a world of, if you're a non-smoker, consider music, food, medicine, everything, all smoky inhabited. So it doesn't matter where you go, you can be a non-smoker, but you have to deal with all of this stuff. Language is key. And Satan knows it. The first way to get to anybody is through language. If it can say something to you that you don't confront, you've allowed yourself to be attacked. That's one way. Or if you listen to things, certain music, there's certain words put together in certain ways that actually mean other things. I've worked with artists that, what was that? Is it Led Zeppelin? If you play one of their songs backwards, Stairway to Heaven, right? It says something else. So language is key with everything you do. We don't know enough about language, just everyday talking, because, people take it, it's just a word. Well, if that's the case, when you tell someone you love them, if that's just a word, it wouldn't affect your whole spirit. If you use a profanity, if it was just a word, it wouldn't affect you as equally, which is passed through frequency. Now to answer your question about AI, I have a studio, pretty much, it's it's a computer, and it's pretty much AI. I have real instruments. I refuse to use fake drums, fake guitar. I'll use them when I do, promo. Like when I look at demo reproduction, I get all that done. But I had a very famous artist hit me up, say, hey man, I got this song. I'd like for you to do it. I don't, I don't know. I could tell something was off, not with my ears, but with my spirit. And I said, what's going on here? Oh, it's AI. I said, well, hey, first off, I don't do AI music because it's not real. One. Number two, this just brings people further down away from anything organic in life, like actually praying and doing things in the organic manner. And this removes us more away from God. He goes, oh, that's too serious. Like, oh, no, it's not. This is actually a part of the plan. So, it's AI is not going to be able to be stopped. People are going to do those type of things. It really depends on your awareness. You know, my ear is really good, but my spirit has been working for so long in this industry. I was signed by Sylvia Long. I had 20 people back in those days, and they all sat down and they said, hey, young man, we're going to sign you. And they put famous artists in front of me. We're going to put you with this group. I was also going to be a part of Disney. Someone said, don't let him do that. He'll never be the same. There were 3 people that were with me. One's a guy and 2's a female, and they're pretty much not well right now. And people know that era. They all did pop. I'm not going to mention that, and they sat me down. They were going to try to put colors on me and clothes that kind of made me, and I have nothing against anybody, but I'm not a small person, and they wanted to feminize me, somehow. And I said, I don't wear clothes like this. You'll have to do something else. And this was before I really knew how to fight against this stuff. I just wasn't comfortable. She goes to me, well, now that we've seen you, we know what you look like. We can just find somebody else to look like you and take your sound, give it to our producers, and we could remake this stuff. So, such as that brings AI into play, that brings in how Satan changes things. So I said, well, you can, but as I get older and grow, you can't become that. You can only be who I am now. So I lost that deal, but through that I became a ghostwriter. So yeah, AI is a huge part, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of groups and a lot of people have no clue that most of the things that they're listening to is AI generated.
You know, what I find amazing is that we're in a window of time that is literally unprecedented. I mean, you go back 200 years, none of this existed. I mean, the fact that we can communicate like this, you're on the other side of the country. We can communicate through Zoom, and I've got cameras running here with the studio, and, lights are on and the cameras are running, and it's all digital. And it's like, we are in unprecedented times. And the music industry, like, I won't mention names, but there's one female singer, and
Out now?
well, yeah, she's still around, but years ago, people would watch her, and all these young girls identified with her, and then she just brought the whole thing, and it all went south, and people's lives, kids' lives, were corrupted, and this is really problematic. And I want to speak of something. I want you to speak of something here. I think the church, and look, I was a worship leader for 25 years. Okay. And all I wanted to do was make Christian music. And I wrote all this tons and tons of music, never got to first base, not because I wasn't good enough, I don't think, because the Lord said, this isn't what I've called you to do. And the rest is history. 34 films and 15 books later, Nephilim, UFOs, end times. That's what I do. And if that's why all the glory is his, not me, because I didn't sign up for this. I didn't know I was supposed to be doing this. But I want you to speak to the so-called worship music, the fog machines, the lights, the power chords on the worship services, and what you think about music in the Christian church.
Well, the first thing is, if they're playing it live, that's good. Because then it's in the actual frequency of prayer and how the planet is created. Uh, hmm. It, give me more detail as to what you're looking for in that question. Are you talking about churches that are for God?
Well, There's a lot of nonsense, I think, in the worship community and Christian music in general. Why is it that if you go to certain Christian stations, which are all over the United States, it's the same 20 or 30 songs repeated endlessly? And it's like there's a lot of great Christian. I've been to a lot of different churches. I've heard people, and you sit there and you go, "Oh my gosh, words! Why aren't we listening to this person's music?" They're writing their own music. They got great, talent. They're good musicians, great vocals, the whole deal. Never hear from them. It's like a little closed community, and you can't pierce that no matter what.
Yeah.
I tried to pierce it. I got nowhere.
The music mirrors the person that's leading it in the congregation. That's true. So that's what you're going to see. I won't mention any names, but you see them on TV late at night. What are those evangelists? Some of those evangelist people. So that's why. And if Satan is real, it would just make sense to make sure that the music matches the message of the person that's being used. So yeah, you'll never see a real music that way. That's really it. At that point, that's easy to answer because it's really the congregation, whatever message that is, then they're going to make sure that the music will match that so nothing else gets through. So, and it's the same thing in the music industry. I have some very serious hits, but the stuff I was saying before I figured this out is foul. I was contributing to people sleeping with each other, hating each other, just, all types of stuff. So it goes with what you said. Whoever is representing that label or representing that label spiritually, then the music is going to match that. It's the same thing in food. We've got fast food. There's no such thing as addiction. People looked it up, they would figure it out. It's designed, the food is designed to get your body to want the same thing. So they create the word addiction. And I'm going to digress now. We've got way back. I love that word. We can go way back when there were witches. Man made that word up. Women went out and became midwives and grabbed the herbs and the earth, and they were helping people. I'm sure that common sense tells you, will there be bad people that do that? Absolutely. But men say that are controlling the world say, oh, wow, women have found a way to help people. Well, now we got to create a negative narrative. So anybody that's trying to help people that uses herbs and stuff, we make them look evil. We don't even talk about the evil ones. It's funny because in Salem, Massachusetts, they got the Baphomet now. Whoa. There, yeah, you got it. But
Damien, are you serious?
Oh yeah, there's a Baphomet in a church there now. Whoa. Yeah, so if you ask me more specific questions, man, because we're fluffing it. But if you ask me some serious stuff, I will give you stuff without the crust cut off.
That's a good analogy. Unfortunately, Mr. X, I'm down to a hard break here. I've got to go because I've got back-to-back interviews. We'll have to have you back because I know we're going to get people, ask them this, ask them that, and we will. We'll definitely have you back again.
All right, I've got one more though before we go.
Okay, go ahead.
So, people don't know that you're my friend, and I appreciate you. I think it takes quite a backbone to do what you do all the time and make all the stuff that you do. It's tiresome. I think people should look out for you and pray for you. So pray for you all the time because the ones that are leading this fight, they're the ones that get targeted the most. And this is where I'm going to get to, and then I'm gone. There was an episode that you had with a lady, and this is how I talk about frequency. The lady that said, that's my music fault. Thank you for opening the door to us, right? And I'm using that because that's how Satan gets in. That was Satan's way to actually look at LA, and if he didn't say anything, that it was going to decide to attack him. And that's the same way in the music business. The same, everything that you asked me, that's how clever. They're going to show up in fiery eyes and levitating beds. It's very quiet. because it understands language and tone and vibration. And we as a people need to really understand and not take lightly the little things that sound like nothing, because those are the things that mean something.
And I remember when you told me that, and you weren't the first person that picked up on that. And when all that happened, I let it go. Lord, I'm in school too, folks. I mean, we're all in school. We're all learning. We're all teachable, hopefully. And I stand corrected because I should have said something. Well, we're really not letting all of you in here. We just want to talk to that person. And when I flipped the conversation and started talking about Jesus and prophecy, that person I was interviewing said, well, LA, just stick to those dusty pages of your Bible. You're just not ready for the paradigm shift or whatever. And I said, yep, I'll stick to those dusty pages all day long.
Yeah, but it's so funny because what I'm really into now is I'm studying exorcisms and doing stuff like that. So yeah, if you have another show and people want to actually ask us questions, I only deal in absolutes because that's what God deals in. God said to Lot, hey, don't look back. Someone's going to get turned to salt. That's the end of it. Satan does the same thing, but tricky. It's still an absolute.
Folks, if you've got a question for Mr. X, and we've never really done this before, but if you've got a question for Mr. X, la@lamarzulli.net, la@lamarzulli.net. It's right on the screen right there. And we get like 5-10 questions or something, whatever, and we'll bring Mr. X back on, and we'll go from there. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to join, right next to it is the join button, where you'll get all sorts of cool perks. So thanks for watching, Mr. X. I'll give you the last word. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me, and keep doing what you're doing. I watch all your stuff. Just one thing for people who really understand language: when people tell you that we're an avatar, it's not even possible to be an avatar because there's no blood coming from an avatar. We have a shroud that showed blood. That person was an avatar. There was some type of frequency, yes, some type of frequency that was created. He had another person on that, and it's great how you approach people with God, because both those people could not answer your questions, and they would direct them making up fantasy talk. So people really need to understand language. It's the first way to keeping yourself safe in your soul by the blood of Jesus, always. There's no other way around it. Period. Amen. Yeah.
That's it, folks. There is a supernatural world that surrounds us. Sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. Got a question for Mr. X? la@lamarzulli.net, la@lamarzulli.net. Thanks for watching.